All right, as we can see, we've been joined by actor, entrepreneur, founder, and United Football League co-owner, the Grand Marshal for the 66th running of the Daytona 500, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And as you guys may have heard, he has agreed to stick around with us tomorrow, so you are going to get to hear him do the command tomorrow with us.
Can't wait.
All right, DJ, I'm going to start off with you. You've had one of the most prolific careers in entertainment, from your success in the WWE ring to your role now with the UFL. What is the most exciting thing you're working on right now?
First of all, it's good to see everybody. Good to be here. This is my first time in Daytona. As many of you may or may not know, I'm a Florida boy, right down the road, University of Miami, best college in Florida. There you go. We got one. I was looking to get a reaction to that. So it's great to be here. I would say the most exciting thing that I have going on right now is being the Grand Marshal for the Daytona 500. It's awesome. You know, when you are just a sports fan, something like this really becomes an honor and a privilege. So I'm a lucky guy to be in this position in my career to have been asked to be the Grand Marshal and say those four iconic words. Much different than the words I usually hear, which is, honey, don't do that. But super excited about it. And also, too, I think just a little bit deeper into my answer is what I try to do is I try to make sure that everything I do these days in my career, because I've been really lucky and blessed to have a pretty good career over the years that have spanned a lot of industries, is I just try to make sure that everything I'm doing is the most exciting thing that I'm doing. I got babies at home, and being a daddy is my favorite role, so I want to make sure that I'm using my time wisely in anything that I do, whether it's in the UFL or movies or back in professional wrestling, which is always my first love, or being the Grand Marshal here for Daytona 500. I just want to make sure that it's the thing that I love to do. So I'm a big advocate, and I always tell people that, you know, if you could create that life for yourself where if you decide to do something, you want to make sure that it's the thing that gets you out of bed and you run towards it. So that's what I'm doing.
And you recently were able to make 21 wishes come true with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, an organization that we're really close to here at DIS as well. That had to have been really special for both you and the kids. What was that moment like for you?
It was. Make-A-Wish is a very special organization, as we all know, and I know you guys work very closely with Make-A-Wish. The drivers work very closely with Make-A-Wish. It is an organization that I hold very close to my heart and my soul and deep in my bone marrow. I had an opportunity when I was 25 years old to grant my first wish, and that was about 8,000 years ago. And it was very special then, and since then I've had the privilege of granting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of wishes. And it's the reminder, I think, for me certainly, but I feel like it's a reminder for all of us that, man, every life is special, every life has a purpose, every life has a meaning. And I like to say, and I'm sure you guys have participated in Make-A-Wish events, that, you know, as we know, those children and those kids, they're the real heroes. And I always like to say that their parents and their loved ones are the real rock stars, because everybody goes through that challenge, man. So, but it was an honor. And by the way, we did one of the biggest Make-A-Wish events in the history of Make-A-Wish. We did 21 Make-A-Wish kids. We did it in Los Angeles, and it was an incredible day. What was supposed to be, all right, I'm going to spend a couple of hours and then move on. I got to go on to my next thing. Wound up being like an 8-9 hour day, and it was very, very special.
That's awesome. And now, moving ahead to tomorrow, the spectacle of the Great American Race. What are you hoping to experience when we finally get out there, and what are you planning for your command to fire the engines tomorrow?
Well, what I'm hoping to experience is what I have already been experiencing. I was telling Frank, I got a little kooky last night because I couldn't sleep, and I went to the gym at midnight, and I drove by this speedway, and all the lights were on, and you just immediately felt the energy. There's a word I like to use called mana, and it means spirit and it's power, and mana is ever present, and it comes from in here, and you felt the mana as I was driving by this speedway. So what I hope to experience is really what I have been experiencing, which is just this incredible electric energy. And also, you know, I liken it to my world of professional wrestling, where there's a lot of people and the fans are so incredibly passionate. And the greatest part about being a performer is that you get to connect with the audience, you get to connect with the fans. And I think my math is kind of shady, but I think it's about 101,500 is the sellout, which is really cool. So I want to experience that. And I want to experience that tomorrow. And I know I'm going to experience this. This is why I didn't want to leave. I had to stay so I can experience that. And my plan for the iconic words of "Driver, start your engine" is just not to screw it up. That's all. And maybe sound halfway cool when I do it. But also, I really want to make sure that my words and my energy is a reflection and a respectful reflection of what the drivers need from me and also what the fans need to kick the race off and to certainly kick the season off. So that's what I hope.
Awesome. Well, we have a couple of minutes for a couple of questions, so we'll open up if you raise your hand. We're going to start up front here with Kelly Crandall.
Kelly Crandall, Racer.com. I want to talk
Kelly.
professional wrestling. We have our biggest race tomorrow, WrestleMania, the biggest event for you all.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, that shifted to a 2-day show. And I'm really curious, how has that been a benefit for both the product and the fans that get to attend and watch those 2 nights?
It's a great question. So for those of you who didn't know, as Kelly, right, is it? She had said we've extended WrestleMania, which was for years and years, 1 day. Now we've extended it to 2. And it's worked out really wonderfully. I think on the business side for us and our sponsors and our partners, it works out great. The economics, you hope, work out good for us, again, on the business side. But I think perhaps more importantly than that is the fans get an opportunity to enjoy 2 days of the Super Bowl, if you will, and enjoy great matches, great entertainment, and also, in addition to that, we get to create more opportunities for the wrestlers and for the performers. And I grew up in the world of wrestling. For those of you who don't know, I was born into it. My grandfather wrestled, my dad, my cousins. My grandmother was the first promoter in Hawaii. So I come from a long lineage. So creating opportunity for wrestlers and performers is something that is very important to me and important to us as a company. So I can't wait. In this WrestleMania 40, we look to put on, hopefully, the biggest WrestleMania of all time. I am returning into the ring, so I'm going to put the spandex on, and I got to start my diet, and I can't wait. I think we are creating something that should be, I think, pretty cool for the fans and pretty entertaining.
Along those same lines, this program, now that you're talking about leading a WrestleMania, how different and how meaningful has it been to really to really lean into that family lineage that you just talked about? Because it's been mentioned throughout your career, but I can't recall this. You guys are really into it now and using that with Roman and Cody.
That's right. So in our world of WWE, we're really leaning into, as Kelly was saying, with our heels and baby faces. That's parlance for good guys, bad guys. Bad guys, The Rock, the big bad wolf, The Rock, Denny Hamlin, for example, which I love. We'll get to in a second. And so we decided to really lean into the idea of families and lineage and culture. And when you think about it, it's pretty cool when you look at the family tree. As I was saying, I grew up in the world of professional wrestling, but when you look at the actual family tree of Maivia, Johnson, Anawa'i, it's pretty spectacular, and it's pretty cool. Again, and just creating more and more opportunities for not only my family, which I'm incredibly grateful for, but for other wrestlers too and other performers. Thank you.
We'll go to Alan Cavana.
Alan Cavana, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. To the point of what you just mentioned, one of the favorites to win this race is Denny Hamlin.
Yeah.
He could win and get booed by the crowd. You're going through that right now, getting the boos. What is that like? Is it more fun to get booed? What is it like being the villain? Because right now, one of our top stars in NASCAR kind of is the villain.
Being the villain is the greatest thing in the world. It truly is. Now, in my world of professional wrestling, and I was aware of Danny and getting booed, and also I think impressed in how he's embraced it. So And I also feel like everybody wants to be the good guy, and everyone wants to be the good guy, the good girl. Everyone wants to be loved and cheered and considered the hero, which is great, and it's natural. It's human psychology and desire. But I have felt in my career and through my experience that I've been very fortunate, knock on wood, to have is that the rare air is when you have the opportunity and you grab it by the throat and you don't let it go, and that's the opportunity to be a great bad guy. And in this case, with me coming back to WWE, for those of you who may not know, the character of The Rock has turned heel, and I always say that the best parts of the times that I played heel, which is now, is it always comes from a place of truth. And I always think that that's really the best and greatest bad guys and villains out there. Bad guys, bad girls, the villains are coming from a place of truth. So one of the cool things that being a great bad guy and a great villain offers, and this is my advice to Denny, is not only do you embrace it, but also you get the opportunity to say and do a lot of things that people can't. And a lot of people wish they can, but they don't. So you don't have to. Let me and Denny do the talking and get the booze.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you, man.
All right. Well, we have to move on with DJ. We have a full slate of activities for him. But DJ, thank you so much for joining us today and for sticking around with us tomorrow. We can't wait to hear your command.
Of course. Yeah, can't wait. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate you. Sure. Absolutely. Yes. Nice to meet you.
Oh, do you mind if I grab a quick photo? Thank you. Very good. Thank you. Can we do a walk and selfie? Thank you.
Miami. Thank you for the applause.
Awesome. Got it. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Love you, Rock.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Rock. Would you like the Rock's water?